DLSS 5 is obviously going to be a transformative moment for the gaming industry and how rendering works, and I think it's going to be incredibly controversial. Your chair is one of the most important pieces of your gaming PC setup, and yet some of you are sitting on an old box of Lego bricks or maybe an old chair from your dining table, and you can't get your arm in a comfortable position for aiming your mouse. Don't get ripped off with some cheap pleather gaming chair based on a race car design either. Get a real ergonomic office chair that not only supports your arm in the correct position for aiming, but also adapts to your body for better back health and long-term comfort. FlexiSpot sent me their C7 Max ergonomic office chair a few months ago, and I absolutely love it. And a huge thanks to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this part of today's video. My back used to give me all sorts of problems after long gaming or working sessions at my desk, but the adaptive lumbar support on the C7M has helped me so much. Seriously, your back will thank you for this upgrade. The C7 Max also solves so many other annoying problems. A mesh back solves those sweaty long gaming sessions, and adjustable height armrest solves the annoying problem where you get a chair that can't actually sit flush with your desk or reach an appropriate height for reaching your mouse and keyboard comfortably. The FlexiSpot C7 Max armrests have a truly impressive range of motion, allowing them to rotate forward, backward, inside, and outside to get into perfect position. And unlike most office chairs, I can rotate the arms far enough out of the way to play my guitar comfortably. I used to have to have a separate chair just for guitar. There's also an adjustable height back, the seat can move forward and backward, and there is a 3D adjustable headrest. This allows the chair to adapt perfectly to your body, and when you want to kick back for some controller-based gaming, just pull out that footrest and it's perfect. With a 30-day return policy and 10-year warranty with direct replacement for damaged parts, there's no reason not to check out the sponsored link in the video description or pinned comment to upgrade to a FlexiSpot ergonomic office chair today. Your back will thank you. Use my code C730 and check out the spring promotion where customers can enjoy a 70% discount. Also, if you have a limited budget, check out their C5 chair, which also has good build quality and tons of adjustment. Or even take a look at the newly launched C7 Morpher with an upgraded lumbar support and upper backrest. So this is breaking news. I just saw it from Digital Foundry. Apparently this was a demo that they were able to go hands-on with, actually controlling the game itself. And apparently DLSS 5 is planned for a fall launch, despite the fact that this demo apparently required two RTX 5090s to run, one to render the game and one to render DLSS 5. However, apparently NVIDIA did say that that should scale down and should also scale with resolution. So by the launch in the fall, I mean, maybe one 5090 can do this at 4K, and then theoretically maybe the lower GPUs could handle it at lower resolutions. I don't know. And I don't know whether it'll take future generations of graphics cards with further neural rendering power in order to really take advantage of this. And like I said, I think this is going to be incredibly controversial. I don't think there is any question about whether this is transformative. What apparently this is doing is it is a neural renderer that is understanding light. So the idea is it's not changing the geometry of the character. This is not AI deciding what this character should look like. It is an AI deciding how light should interact in this scene based on the actual, texture and character model and geometry and color data that is within the scene in the game. I think that in photorealistic games, it's going to be hard to argue that this isn't a transformative step towards photorealism. I think where we're going to start getting some questions is like, to what extent does this line up with artist intent? This particular screenshot is from Starfield, but we also have Resident Evil 5. Here you see on the left the path-traced version of the game, and on the right is still the path-traced version of the game, but now with the neural rendering of the light, taking it a step even further towards that photorealistic look. This is not the only game being demoed. There is also Is this FIFA? Dude, I don't play sports games. Anyway, but again, if you look at the character's face here especially, but even the uniform, all of that, the lighting quality is certainly a step towards photorealism. And I don't think there's any arguing about that. There could be some arguing about maybe the performance cost, because apparently, like I said, the demo is running on two 5090s, one for the neural rendering. I keep saying neural rendering. I'm not sure NVIDIA is using that language, but it's the neural decision about how light should operate, right? So this is different than path tracing. It's not simulating light bounces through ray tracing. It is taking the game data for the scene and having the AI decide how light should behave. That is my understanding of this. Here's a shot in Hogwarts Legacy. So I think there's question on the utility of this in very stylized games where there's a lot of stylistic choices that are not shooting for photorealism and a photorealistic recreation of light and its behavior. But I don't think there's any question about how transformative this is as far as what it is actually doing. Like I said, I've got some questions on how performant will it be by the time it launches on current hardware. Is this going to be something where even on a 5090 it runs slow and you're just kind of getting a preview of what maybe future generations with further neural rendering performance could give you? But this is, I mean, guys, like it's been a long time. Like graphics have not been moving at the pace that they used to. I remember the change from console generation to console generation growing up because I started with like the tail end of the original NES going into the Super NES was my first actual console I owned. I had friends with the original, and then I remember the N64, the PlayStation 1, PS2, PS3. There were these generational changes in what graphics looked like, how realistic they could be. And what sort of resolution they were running at, all of that. And I just feel like that has really slowed down. A jump like this is really pushing on it not being the, it's not the traditional increase in power and not even increase in ray tracing power, but really this looks like a shift in the way games are lit. Now I'm going to be very curious if AMD and their collaborations with Sony, with Project Amethyst, and they're talking with their collaborations with Microsoft, with their Xbox Project Helix. They've talked about FSR Diamond. Both of those projects, as well as what we've heard about RDNA 5 in the PC space, all seem to be talking about this push toward neural rendering of games. I think that this is kind of a step towards a vision of what that might look like. But again, this is really then going to start you're going to have to start asking questions about artistic intent versus photorealism. So I'm really curious where you guys are at in the comment section, because I don't think anybody can argue that you're getting a more photorealistic shot on the right-hand side of the screen here with all of these. Another thing we can look at is switch over to this comparison tool. And again, I want to be clear, this is all available at the Digital Foundry website. I believe they also have a video version of this out. But yeah, they have this comparison tool, so you are free to play around with this yourself for these comparisons. These aren't mine, but I actually looked on the NVIDIA press portal to see if there was any information about this. There was nothing there, so I wonder if something will be coming out. But as far as I can tell, Digital Foundry is kind of the breaking of this story right now. So this is where the only place I'm able to get information. I got a media pre-briefing for what they plan to discuss at GDC, and this was not in it. So again, we can overlay the image here, kind of get a side-by-side going. This one's laid out a little better than the last one. So you can look at that. Again, you could play with this yourself. I guess I could kind of be small and out of the way. Sorry guys, this video, I don't really know what to say. I'm not getting to try this hands-on myself. I'm just sort of presenting the information to you guys here. So you can make of that what you will. I'd encourage you to play around with this. And I want to be clear that there is video of this as well. And it was controllable by at least Digital Foundry. I presume they weren't the only media at this presentation. I don't know. That was a little bit unclear here. But yeah, I think there's no question about this being transformative. I think, and more photorealistic display of lighting. I think the only big questions here are going to be about, vendor lock, about rendering technologies, to what extent, the performance will work out. Is there going to be some AMD version of this, some kind of console version of this? But I think we're definitely moving into a new frontier when it comes to how games are rendered. And yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of discussion around Is photorealism always the right choice? I mean, I think in the majority of the examples we're seeing here, if I was asked which of these versions would you rather play, I would choose the DLSS 5 version. But I'm not seeing, the frame rate difference. So for now, what is the frame rate cost going to be on this? Because again, apparently this demo was running on two 5090s. Wow, that's what I've got for you guys today. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Check out the Digital Foundry website with more information on this. This stuff looks crazy. I hope all of you have an excellent day.